Hey, it's Lowry Smith of the CommanderSmiths here with curated. Nope. I need to make a curated video after this. All right, so this is going to be searching for the spotlight, Mike and Will. So we have roughly 240 cards to go through a little bit here at the beginning, see what kind of ideas I was thinking we can go through. But first, I want to talk about no. Don't. Oh, fuck it. All right. I didn't do my focus thing because my computer's having issues, but we're just going to run with it. Autofocus is going to be on. It kind of is going to suck with foils a bit. But we have a podcast that comes out every Wednesday, and you can check that out. It is highly touted by people. And we do some shorts on YouTube. So if you're watching this, you can follow us, and we put out stuff, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Adam makes some proxies for everybody on Sunday, and we try and have some fun. Adam is my co-host, cousin. Anything else? I don't know. I almost said no. I'm not going to say that. So, but today I want to play around with Will and Mike. I like Will the most, and then Mike just kind of plays in there for some of the flavor, some of the help. So let's go with Will first. Will the Wise. It's white, black, 1/2. This is Secret Lair, Stranger Things, by the way. So white, black, 1/2. When Will the Wise enters or leaves the battlefield, each opponent may investigate. Each opponent who doesn't loses one life. You investigate X times, where X is 1 plus the number of opponents who investigated this turn. So you're always going to be able to get at least one, but if, whoever else investigates, you get that many. There's also, it's kind of like the pinging of life. Leaving the battlefield is different than death triggers, and so, like, if there's blinks, if it's, if it dies, I don't think phasing works because phasing doesn't trigger, like, ETBs and stuff like that, so I would not say that is leaving the battlefield. But it should create a bunch of tokens. It should, looking to kinda ping a bunch of people with that, like, minus, or losing 1 life, and I want that to be kind of on theme. And then let's go to Mike, the Dungeon Master. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find a proper focus spot. Boom. Not sure how much I dig this art, but, I mean, that was the '70s. So Mike the Dungeon Master is 1, a green, a white. It's a 2/2. You can pay 2, tap it, choose target creature card in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn, return it to the battlefield tapped. So these are kind of partnered, they're friends together. And so kind of looking to do an aristocrat style, like sacrifice Will the Wise, be able to bring it back with Mike, and have plenty of cards that work with that. And so I think it's going to be kind of cool. I haven't built an aristocrats deck in ages, over 4 years easily. Because Adam kind of does that a lot. Not maybe not a lot, but yeah, there was a little while there where it was kind of his style, and so I didn't want to step on that. But I want to build that. I think Will's going to be cool. So let's see what kind of cards kind of show up here. For a little bit, I was thinking energy could be potentially cool. There's a lot of creatures that kind of ETB and create energy. But what I did notice is, motherfucker. Let's see here. The payoffs just aren't really there. Like, this isn't a combat deck. And some of the better, like, higher end cards, they kinda make their own energy. So, like, this kind of support here just almost isn't needed, I don't think. So I'm gonna cut a tune with Aether, like, right away. Witch's Oven, sacrifice a creature, create a food token. If the sacrifice creature, it doesn't matter. So essentially, there, sack outlet for will, creating a food token can be cool. Disciple of the Vault is whenever an artifact is put into an artifact, you may have target opponent lose one life. Those motherfucker. Um, so plenty of those clue tokens. You're going to be having everybody lose life. Cauldron Familiar, 1/1. When it's sacrificed, each opponent loses a life, you gain a life, and then you can sacrifice a food. I might need to put more food beyond. I don't have much food in there for now, but I do like this interaction with the oven, the cat. That's kind of what I'm going for a little bit here. Kaya's ghost form. Aura, when enchanted permanent dies or is put into exile, return that card to the battlefield under your control. That's what I want to be doing with Will. So we'll see. Malakira Rebirth. It's an instant that's doing the same thing for 2 life. Also could be a land if you so wish, but I like that. Unearth is sorcery. Choose target creature card in your graveyard with total casting cost 3 or less, which would be Will. And then, and so, like, when you sacrifice Will, the investigate happens. When it ETBs, the investigating happens. I think there's hopefully a lot of triggers here that can kind of help. So Unearth is a reanimate. So there's reanimation. There is um this kind of like pseudo reanimation that when it dies, it comes back. So it could be kind of cool that way. Phyrexian Reclamation. It's a classic, one of my favorite cards. That'd be great of you, camera. So, um, looking to just pay 2 life, 2 mana, bringing Will back to hand and recasting it works for me. Undying Evil is if Will dies, it comes back into play. Works for me. Supernatural Stamina, same thing. If it dies, comes back into play, tapped. Reanimate is classic good stuff, but just doing it for Will as well. Swords to Plowshare, exile, good removal. Leon and Elder, whenever an artifact comes into play, you may gain 1 life, which is a bunch of glue tokens. At the exile, great removal. Ephemerate is a blink with rebound. It's a good card. But I think I'm going to end up cutting the instant blinks and might have more permanents that are doing that. And so I might just cut those right now. I had Cloud Shift there. Caravan Vigil. My camera's going to piss me off. All right, Caravan Vigil. It is a sorcery. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, or if a creature died, which could easily happen, you may put the card into the battlefield instead of putting it into the hand. So 1 mana, put a basic land from your library into play. Pretty cool. Ancient Stirrings. I don't think I ended up getting enough artifacts in here, but look at the top 5 cards. Put a colorless card into your hand. I'm gonna just cut that right away. Nature's Chosen and Instill Energy are auras that will allow me to untap Mike for free. Instill Energy gives haste. So these are some cool untapping synergies for green. Bequeathal, if enchanted creature is put into any graveyard, draw 2 cards. You should be able to do that pretty good. Hey, Steven. Yes, food. I don't know. There's plenty of support in green black, so I'll probably have to adjust that if I do like the food angle. Deathrite Shaman, classic. It's the best creature planeswalker out there. Springleaf Drum, tap an untap creature you control. I don't actually think I need that in here. I like it, but I think I can get rid of it. Soul Ring, Skull Clamp, drawing your 2 cards off of Will dying. Sensei's top should be considered. You should have a ton of artifacts, so Mox Opal should be a consideration. Let's see here. I wish it wouldn't get out of focus. No, I can't. Okay. Genesis Chamber, whenever a non-token creature comes into play, if it's untapped, you get a 1/1. Each player gets a 1/1 mirror. So whoever's playing the creature or whatever. So just putting creatures out there and stuff like that. Probably not necessary. Mortipod, it's a living weapon, but also you whenever you equip it, you can sacrifice that creature and it deals 1 damage. Probably not necessary. I think we have enough, but it is just kind of 1. And so 1 is kind of I'm happy with 1 in this deck because of all of that style. So we'll keep it around for now. Fucking camera. Fucking camera. Oh. Let's see here. This is frustrating because I had to restart my computer a bunch of times. I forgot to go back and fuck around with the settings. All right. So, Tome of Legends artifacts enters the battlefield with a page counter on it. Whenever your commander enters the battlefield or attacks, put a page counter on Tome of Legends. Pay 1, tap it, remove a page counter from Tome of Legends, draw a card. So, hopefully, I have Will coming in and out of play and being able to just attack. It doesn't matter if it's blocked or not. Um, so that should draw me cards. Or Stone for ramp. Ornithopter of Paradise for ramp. I think I'm just going to cut that. I don't need that in here. Green has, well, elves and stuff like that. Arcane Signet is nice. Voice of Resurgence creates tokens when it dies or if anybody plays spells on your turn. So could be a cool card. Mother. I'm just frustrated. Frustrated. I don't think there's anything I can do about it either. Let's see here. Do 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 do. Let's see here. Let's see here. And we can Safi Eric's daughter does a good job of you can sacrifice it, then target creature is put into the graveyard this turn, return it. So, just a little bit of reanimation. Isali Pride Mage is another creature that you can kind of work with and being able to control the board. Catilda, Dawnheart Prime, protection from werewolves, doesn't matter, but human creatures you control have tapped add 1 mana of any of its creature's colors, and then you can put counters on. But Will and Mike, I had a short idea of having human tribal in this, but I don't think that's going to work. Even though, human. I just think it's a wee bit expensive in here. General's Enforcer, though, legendary humans you control have indestructible, so it's protecting both Will and Mike. Do I care about Will living? Not really, but it's probably good enough, right? So I'll check that out. Probably doesn't matter. Probably doesn't matter. We'll just cut that. Corpse Knight. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, each lose 1 life. Death of 1,000 cuts. Let's do it. Cauldron Haze, giving choose any number of target creatures. Each of those creatures gain persist, so you can just sacrifice all your stuff. It's pretty sweet. Revival, return target creature card with converted mana. Return target will back to your hand, or double your life total, and target opponent loses half their life, rounded up. So it's kind of a nice split card there. Might not be too bad. All right, let's see here for a quick second. And let's see if I solved this problem. I think we did. There we go. All right, hidden stockpile is at the beginning of your end. Now, this was the problem with Revolt, that it only triggered at the end of your end step, right? And so, just once per turn, you can sacrifice a creature, scry 1, and then it creates a 1/1 servo. It probably doesn't do enough for what we want to be doing, but it can. I'll keep it around. Can't stay away. This is a bring Will back from graveyard with flashback. Assassin's Trophy, which is gorgeous. And Secret Lair. Secret Lair. So great removal. Power Leech. Gain 1 life whenever one of your opponent's artifacts becomes tapped or whenever the activated cost of that opponent's artifact is paid, which would be when they pay 2 to sacrifice that clue, you get to gain a life. Kind of cool. Reserve list card. Evolutionary Leap. Sacrifice Will. Go and reveal cards until you get a creature. Put that into your hand. Makes sense to me. Season of Growth. Whenever a creature ETBs, scry 1, and whenever you target it with a spell, you get to draw a card. So if I end up going with a bunch of, let's see if we can do that, of the Malakira Rebirth cards and stuff like that, that blinks, that might be worth putting Season of Growth in there. It might anyway. Season of Growth is pretty sweet. So Tribe Elder's ramp. Dawn Treader Elk is, sacrificing ramp, sacrificing a creature ramp. Baldaran Bloodcaster. Whenever I have another non-token creature die, create a blood token, and then whenever I have 3 or more, I get to flip it, and they turn into 2/2 flying bats. So just another part of like artifacts. Could be cool. Flicker of Fate is a flicker effect. Flicker is a flicker effect. Declaration in Stone. Exile target creature card, and all other creatures its controllers controls with the same name as that creature. So it wipes the board of token with the same name. That player investigates for each non-token, still kind of on theme, creating investigate tokens. Brought back, which is different than blink, and this is more like the black cards, so I'll probably do that. But choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them to the battlefield tapped. So I think that's probably worth it. Charming Prince is a creature that ETBs and blinks another creature. So Spirit of Labyrinth. Each player can't draw more than 1 card each turn. You'd never be able to get rid of all your clue tokens, right? Because you would just, and then everybody couldn't just be like, sacrifice a bunch at one time to draw a bunch of cards. It'd be just spread out. Probably not worth the idea. Inquisitor Exarch. It's when it ETBs, you either gain 2 life or target opponent loses 2 life. It's probably not doing enough, but I'll keep it around. Dance of the Dead is reanimate from the graveyard. This is Oversold Cemetery. I don't remember exactly what it does, but I want to say that if you have X amount of creatures in your graveyard, you can choose a creature and put it into your hand. It's pretty cheap, pretty simple. And I've never used it. I found this in, it's like a $6 card. Bought it for 20 cents in a bin. And so it works. Shallow Grave is just bringing Will the Wise back, and then it leaves again really quick. It's fast reanimation. Underhanded Designs. I've done a curated on this, but whenever an artifact enters that battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. It's going to be perfect in this deck. So it's perfect. Goryo's Vengeance is just like Shallow Grave. So in this deck, it works. Shadows of the Past. Whenever a creature dies, scry 1. Now, there's a lot of cards that work with, like, there's a lot of dying synergies out there. And so that's kind of where I want to be going. That's why I'm probably going to be cutting the flicker effects. Just to get more synergy in the deck. But this just scries you 1 whenever a creature dies. Cranial Plating might make any creature just a beatdown. Return to Action. I think this is one that when that creature dies, it comes back under its owner's control. This is new from Kamigawa, but I want them to be probably 1, but we'll keep this in here for now. Plumb the Forbidden. Sacrifice a creature, lose 1 life, draw a card, do it over and over as long as you want. It's a solid card. Lampad, the Death's Virgil. Tap 1, sacrifice a creature. Each opponent loses a life, you gain a life. Perfect in here. Zulaport Cutthroat. Each opponent loses a life, you gain 1 life. Blood Artist, it's whenever a creature dies, target player loses a life, you gain a life. Wood Weaver's Puzzle Knot, it's an energy card, we'll cut that. 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 And this was there for Winding Constrictor was there for energy, and we can cut that. We'll just cut those right away. Arcbound Ravager, just being able to sacrifice those clues pretty quick if you want and make it huge. Could be fun. Lightning Greaves Protection for probably Mike. Let's lower that a bit, right? Abzan Ascendancy. Whenever it's ETBs, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. That hardly matters, but whenever a non-token creature you control dies, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token flying into the battlefield. So if I'm hoping that Will and some other cards die, they're being replaced fairly easily, and you can maybe build an army that way. Honor Worn Shaku, being able to tap my legends to add more colorless mana because Will is just going away anyway. Maybe. Desecrated Tomb. Whenever 1 or more creature cards leave the graveyard, create a 1/1 black bat creature token. So creating bats when Will's going in and out and reanimating, stuff like that. Ashnod's Altar is just a sack outlet that creates mana. Ensnaring Bridge. Each creature with power greater than the number of cards in your hand cannot attack. You have the clues where you're going to be drawing cards, so it's not going to just like lock down the board. But also, I'm not an attacking deck here, so it's okay if I do shut down everything. I'm not sure. Steven's saying, I'm not sure if that you and plumbing are a good team right now. I'm an okay plumber. I can do most of my own plumbing. Just saying. Academy Manufacturer, making clues, making food, making treasures. It's probably going to do a lot of work here. Cloudstone Curio, cast a creature, return Will back to your hand to trigger it, play Will back, trigger it. Could be fun. Blasting Station is a sack outlet to deal 1 damage. Fits pretty well in here. Inspiring Statuary. Non-artifact spells you cast, have, and provise. So you can turn those clues into mana for yourself. Mimic Fat might work just being able to copy Will the Wise, and then you're just getting the 2 triggers every turn. Makes sense to me. Or Shards. I only put this card in if I don't have enough removal. It's one of those cards that's kind of like a very good coverall, but it can be a really feel bad for those like artifact and enchantment players. So I only put it in there if I get really thin on removal. Lurrus is going to be banned in everything, but you can recast your Will the Wise, and that'd be sweet. And Autumn is removal and life gain, and able to ETB sacrifice it. Anguished Unmaking is just some solid removal. Glissa the Trader. This is artifact recursion when opponent's creatures dies. I think I can just cut that. Again, I'm not very artifact themed. It's just these tokens, and so there isn't going to be much back. Chatterfang is going to make squirrels when Will makes the clue tokens. Catacomb Sifter is going to be able to, whenever it ETBs, put a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion creature token. Whenever another creature you control dies, scry 1. So it's scrying, you get a little bit of ramp. It's a cool card. I've always kind of liked it. Journey to Eternity. When enchanted creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control, then return Journey to Eternity to the battlefield transformed, which is pay 5, return target creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. This is going to be better with those top end cards, but we have enough that are sacrificing themselves that you can maybe get that rolling pretty easy. Fecundity. Whenever a creature is put into a graveyard, that's everybody. They get to draw a card, whoever that is. Ulvenwald Mysteries. Non-token creatures dying. You get to investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, create a 1/1 human. So this sacrificing all those clues can create an army. Lifecrafter's Bestiary. You get the scry 1, and then you can pay green to draw a card. We'll have to look at what our curve is doing, but I don't think that's a bad one this time. Eldritch Evolution, I'm just going to sacrifice or get rid of that. I'm not looking to really tutor. I just want Will going in and out, and so I don't really care about the tutors. Viridian Revel, whenever an artifact is put into an opponent's graveyard from the battlefield, you may draw a card. So when they're sacrificing those clue tokens, you get to draw a card. Primal Growth, sacrifice Will and go and put 2 basic land cards into play. They are untapped. It should be pretty cool in here. Myth Unbound. Your commander costs 1 less, so it's having your commander tax, and then whenever your commander is put into the command zone from anywhere, draw a card. I'm hoping they don't go there, but I think having Myth Unbound in a 2, partnership deck is not a bad thing. Excuse me. So we'll look at that for a bit. Tireless Provisioner is creating treasures or food or no clues. Yeah, just food or treasures. So that can work. That's going to be in here. It's pretty solid. Because we want Tireless Tracker is making investigating clues, and whenever a clue token sacrifice, you put a 1/1 on him. By himself, he can get huge. So this should work nicely. Heron Blade Elite. Why is this in here? Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Heron Blade Elite. So hopefully Will's going in and out here to add counters to that and then tap it, add mana to its power. So that seems like it could be kind of cool. We'll see. Thrashing Brontodon is sacrifice, destroy an artifact or an enchantment. It's a big boy. I like it. Eternal Witness, classic. ETB brings something back from the graveyard. Fairhaven Elf and Wood Elves are ETB, go get land into play. Sword of Hearth and Home. I've been putting this in a ton of decks lately. It's probably the 3rd best sword behind, and it's really close to Fire and Ice. But Feast and Famine is the best. It is. So, but it ramps, it blinks Will. It's doing a lot in here. Uri Interlude is great protection, but it's also blinking. Will's going to get some work in there. About halfway done. All right. Gift of Immortality. It's an aura. When an enchanted creature dies, so this dies, return it to the battlefield to its owner's control. Then return Gift of Immortality to the battlefield attached to that creature at the beginning of the next end step. So they have a chance to kill it. And if they don't, then it comes back and you can do whatever shenanigans you got going again. It's a really good engine. It's crazy in Brea if you ever do, what isn't though. Monologue Tax. You are making sure that a lot of people are drawing cards, so they're probably going to be playing more spells as well. So you might as well get treasure tokens out of that. Generous Gift is great removal. Whenever you attack, investigate. Just a different way of making clue tokens. I don't really care about the dungeon at this point. I'm probably just going to cut so that I'm not looking at dungeons. Each player returns to play all art. Okay, this is Second Sunrise. Return to play all artifacts, creatures, enchantments, and land cards that were put into his or her graveyard from play this turn. So this is just kind of like a mass reanimate for anything that died. You can save everybody from wrath effects, or you can just sacrifice your board and bring them all back into play. Steven saying that Sword of the Animist is obviously the best sword. You got me there. You got me there. But that was what's that called? Stable versus the 2. And Hearth and Home is pretty fucking good. Oketra's Monument reduces white creature spells by 1, and whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 token. So there might be a bunch of tokens that are being made here. Eldrazi Displacer is just a blink on a stick, which is really good. Vizier of Deferment is a blink with flash. If it's attacking or blocking, could be cool. Bygone Bishop creates clues whenever you cast a creature with 3 or less. So it could be kind of cool in here. Flicker Wisp is a blink without flash, but it can hit opponents as well. Bastion Protector is that gives them both +2/+2 and indestructible. Might be worth it. Athreos, Death Trigger. Somebody who has to pay 3 life or goes back in your hand. Will's gonna like that. Attrition is sacrifice a creature, destroy target non-black creature. Enchantment, totally worth it. Necromancy is Oro with reanimation. Decaying Soil was another curated card, but if your graveyard has Threshold, whenever a non token creature is put into your graveyard from play, you may pay 1. If you do, return that card to your hand. So just being able to replay Will a ton. That should work pretty well. Yes. Steven's saying that Eldrazi Displacer is good in almost any white deck. And that's true. It's absolutely true. And I haven't played it in a while, but it's absolutely true. Shade's Form is an aura that gives it black fire breathing, but whenever enchanted creature is put into a graveyard, return that creature to play under your control. I'm probably going to cut it. It's expensive and only does it once. Probably not worth it. Victimize, sacrifice a creature, bring 2 back into play from your graveyard. That's going to be good in here. Blight Mound. Whenever a non-token creature, it's an enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 black and green pest token. Solid. Bastion of Remembrance. Creates a token. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Perfect. Painful Truths. I can pay 3 here, lose 3 life, draw 3 cards. Solid. Haunted Crossroads. Enchantment, pay a black, put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Probably just will, just making sure that I'm not doing the commander tax too much. Footsteps of the Goryo is reanimate, and then it sacrifices at end of turn. Probably too expensive. Bantu's Monument goes right in here, but black spells cost 1 less. And then whenever you cast a creature spell, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. It's good in here. Liliana, Heretical Healer. Whenever you have a creature die, you create a 2/2 and it flips. And then the big thing that I want is that -8. You get an emblem with whenever a creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. So really, each player discards a card. I don't care. People aren't going to be as mad because they have those clue tokens, but they're definitely going to want to try and kill it before we hit that 8. So, but I want to see if that'll work. Vayne, the Broker. This is more like sacrifice an artifact, create a 2/1 flyer. So just trying to get more use out of those clue tokens than just drawing cards, because I have a feeling that there's going to be a point where it doesn't matter. But we'll see. We'll see. It's pretty cheap. Panavulamog, whenever a non-token creature dies, create a 0/1 Eldrazi spawn token that can sacrifice and give you mana. So, solid. Midnight Reaper is whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you lose a life and draw a card. We want that. There's another one here. Grim Harrowsprux. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, draw a card. Yep. Drawing cards that way. Graveyard Trespasser. So whenever ETBs or exiles exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard, so it's graveyard removal a little bit. If a creature card was exiled this way, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Pretty cool, and kind of doing the same thing on the back. But it's bigger. So thought that was cool. Mariok Rigger 2/2. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from play, all your clue tokens, it gets a 1/1 counter. Probably doesn't do enough, but thought it was cool. Undercity Scrounger, create a treasure token. Basically morbid. Activate only if a creature died this turn. So creating treasures, it's a nice blocker. Could be worth it. Energy goes away. Nadier's Nightblade. Whenever a token you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life, gain 1 life. Totally on theme for what I want to be doing. Renegade Rallier. It is an ETB. Bring a will back into play. 3 mana, 3/2. I don't know how much I like it, especially since I'm not going to be blinking per se. So I think I'm just going to cut it. Sort of Light and Shadow. It is reanimation, bringing it back into hand from Will. It's totally worth it. Siege Rhino is an ETB that was the scourge of standard, um, and doesn't have a lot of chances in Commander. So maybe. All right. So one of the payoffs I was talking about, Aetherworks Marvel. Whenever a permanent you control is put into the graveyard, you get one energy. So that could be your clues, that could be will. You're just going to get enough energy that way, pretty easy. And then you can pay that, and then go look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may cast a card from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So I think that's pretty cool. I think it'll work pretty well in a sacrifice deck. Quark Clan Ironworks, sacrifice artifacts to add 2 to your mana pool. Totally works. Tempting Contract artifact at the beginning of your upkeep. Each opponent may sack or create a treasure token. For each opponent who does this, you create a treasure token. So kind of a similar situation to Will. So I thought it was kind of cool in there. Death Render. Whenever Will dies, put a creature from your hand into play, equipped to Death Render. Could be cool. Solemn, classic. Emil the Blessed, which is a blinker. That's all it's doing. Kaya, Ghost Assassin is also blinking because you exile Kaya and a creature, then come back. You lose 2 life. That works, right? And then each opponent, the rest doesn't really matter other than utility. Culling Ritual, if you really want to ramp, destroy everybody's clues. And then you get a bunch you're giving them, you might as well take them away. Death Reap Ritual, I think it's going to be too expensive. It has Morbid, though. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, you may draw a card. That does a lot, though, too. It's pretty cool. We'll see. Savra, Queen of the Golgari. So whenever you sacrifice a green creature, you may pay 2, or a black creature, pay 2 life. If you do, each other player sacrifices a creature. Whenever you sacrifice a green creature, you may gain 2 life. So, really shot up when the pests were in Strixhaven last year. Still pretty cool. Might work out here. Poison Tip Archer. Whenever another creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Just kind of keep on doing that to people. Whenever another creature dies, scry 1. That's probably too expensive. It's always been too expensive. I like the card, but it's too expensive. We'll cut it. We'll just cut it right now. Birthing Pod, sacrifice a creature. Maybe will, maybe not. It's a tutor. I'll get rid of it. Guardian Project. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have the same name as another creature card or a creature card in the graveyard, draw a card. And so Will of Wise is going in and out, and you're just going to be drawing cards off that as well. It's going to be real nice. Parallel Lives creates more tokens when you get to create tokens. Path of Discovery. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it explores. So reveal the top card of your library. Put that card into your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, put a 1/1 counter on Will, then put that card back on top or in your graveyard. I'm not going to really benefit from those +1/+1 counters, I don't think. But putting lands in a hand really is a nice dig. We'll keep that around. Migration Path, I think we get rid of that right away. Don't even need to talk about it. Bramble Sovereign. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield, you may pay white and a green, create a copy, which would be Will, which would die right away. So, but it'd still get you all of those triggers trying to make a bunch of stuff happen. Druid of Purification is artifact and enchantment removal, especially if you're blanking it and stuff like that. Timeless Witness is getting stuff back from your graveyard. Kind of works here. Teamer Sabertooth, returning Will back to your hand. It gets indestructible, but triggers Will. Annoying Procession is doubling the tokens. Cosmic Intervention, you can foretell it, which is kind of cool. But if a permanent you control would be put into a graveyard from the battlefield this turn, exile it instead. Return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. This is probably better if I have a lot of stuff dying at once, and I don't know how much of that would really work for me. I think I'm just Gonna work on a will, but we'll see what else works in there. Oh, Steve's saying that culling ritual does work. I'm excited for that. I haven't played with it yet either, and it seems like it's going to be a nice RAM card. You know, you go from 4, you use that up, and you might go up to like 8 or 12. So should be cool. Teleportations circle is a blink at end of turn. Could be worth it. Search the premises. I like it, but whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, investigate. So it's creating those tokens for each creature that's attacking you. It can do some work. Semester's End is blinking as many creatures as you want. That's all it's there for. Face reward. Return to the battlefield all permanent cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. So again, it's a big one. Felidar Guardian is there to blink. Gale Powder Mage is to blink on attack, which makes it more repeatable, more likely for me to keep it around. All right, last batch. We're doing all right here. All right, 40 minutes. First 20 of that was me fucking up with that camera, but let's not remember that, right? Flash Flying. When it ETBs, exile all non-angel creatures that you choose, and they stay gone until Glorious Protector leaves. And I think I have enough blinking here. I think I'm just going to cut that right away. Tashar Ancestors Apostle. Whenever you cast a historic spell, return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So Will works perfect that way. So we'll see if that works. Keeper of the Cord. I don't think I really need it for the mana, but the tokens might be nice. But I think at the same time, it looks like there's enough token stuff in here, so I don't know how much this is going to work. I'm just going to cut it right now. Revenge. Do I have Sir Conrad in here somewhere? We're coming up on it, actually. This was all CMC based, so we do have Sir Conrad. Hopefully that can do some work here, too. Revenge of the Ravens. Enchantment. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker, they lose a life, you gain a life. So that happens for each one. Kalidas, Trader of Get. If your non-token creature an opponent controls would be die. Instead, it's exiled. You get a 2/2. So I like that. Just creating more tokens and stuff like that. A little bit dependent. Pitiless Plunder. When Will dies, create a treasure token. Works. Twilight Prophet. This is there because I'm going to have Ascend. I'll have 10 or more permanents. And then it is that gain life, lose life, drain type thing. So I think it fits in here pretty well at this point. Yawgmoth is sacrificing creatures, drawing cards, maybe some removal. We'll see how that goes. Eradicator Valkyrie. There to sacrifice a creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. So it's lifelink. It's cheap, 4/3. I like it. Tormod the Desecrator. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. So creating 2/2s, species specialist. I'll probably cut it because I was thinking more humans, but I don't think there's enough humans, and I have enough other cards that'll just do the work for me anyway. So we'll cut that right now. Sifter of Skulls. Whenever a Will dies, create an Eldrazi that can sacrifice. It's pretty cool. Falcon Wrath Noble. Whenever another creature dies, target player loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. Works. Grave Pact, non-Atom proxy. I made this years ago, but whenever a creature you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, each other player sacrifices a creature. This is one card that it's good, and especially I don't have a lot of removal in here, so it'll help control. But I don't want too many of this effect because it does kind of suck if there's too much of it. So this is one that might get gone. All right. Nightmare Shepherd. Whenever Will dies, exile it, put a 1/1 copy of him into play, and have all that kind of stuff happen. You can just recast Will as well. Makes sense to me. Arcbound Crusher is whenever another artifact comes into play, put a 1/1 counter on it. It's going to get huge. It's going to get huge. Guru of Spores. It's just like a sack outlet. I think I'm going to get rid of it though. right off the bat. It's really good. It's super combo-y, and I know I have Ashnod's altar in here, and I think I'd rather have that sack outlet than Gave, so we'll cut that right away. Ugin's Nexus. I have a couple artifact sack things, but I think we'll just cut that right away. So this is players can't take extra turns, and then if it dies, you get to take an extra turn. Trading Post. Discard a card, gain 4 life, might matter. Pay 1 life, create a token. Sacrifice a creature, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. I don't have a lot of artifacts. And then sacrifice an artifact to draw a card, which is kind of what clues are doing anyway. Yeah, that doesn't really work here. I like it, but it just doesn't work. Lifeline, it's if Will dies and there's other creature, if I have other creatures, it's going to come back at the end of the turn. So you can just sacrifice. It's fucking amazing card. It's in. It's in. Should be in your deck too. Tamio's Journal. At the beginning of your upkeep, investigate. Sacrifice 3 clues, search your library for a card, and put that card into your hand. Goes into hand. It's any card. It's 5 mana, repeatable. It's still bad, right? I mean, maybe not bad, but when people, yeah. I mean, like if this is in play, people are just going to take the 1 damage. That's all right. Lisa, Forgotten Archangel. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, return that card to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. It's 4/4 flying lifelink. Could do some work here. Obzadat, Ghost Council. So when it ETBs, target opponent loses 2 life, you gain 2 life. That's something that that's on theme. And then you can choose to exile it and have it come back at the beginning of your upkeep. It has haste, stuff like that. So it works well with like Goryo's Vengeance, Shallow Grave, any of those other, like you exile it and it can come back and those effects aren't going to be around. So kind of cool. We'll see if it works. Kaya is here. Put a ghost form counter on up to 1 target non-token creature. It gains when this creature dies. So that's why it's in here, but it's 5 mana. And then what is exile target non-land permanent? That might not be bad. You get an emblem with, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a legendary spell from your hand, from your graveyard, or from among cards you own in exile without paying the mana cost. It's kind of expensive, but whatever. Whenever a creature you control dies, gain 1 life and draw a card. I like it. Perilous for Raise is a sacrifice a creature for 1. Go and put essentially a dual land into play. And that works nicely. Gutter Grime. It's whenever a non-token creature you control dies, put a slime counter on Gutter Grime, then put a green ooze creature token into the battlefield with this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of slime counters. So you should be able to get a token armor going kind of right there. Acidic Slime is good removal. Seed Guide Ash is if it dies, you get to go put 3 forest cards and put them into the play tapped. It's pretty sweet. Thragtusk has an ETB, gain 5 life. When it dies, put a 3/3 beast into play. A little bit like Will the Wise. Cauldron of Souls gives as many creatures as you want. Persist. It's pretty sweet. It's a Guardian Savior. You have to cast it. I'm not even going to talk about it for the reanimation. Timeless Dragon. I don't have. Okay. Timeless Dragon. It has Plane Cycling for 2 and Eternalize for 4. I mean, we have green. It's probably just better to run green, right? We have Revelark, and when it leaves play, return up to 2 target creature cards with power of 2 or less from your graveyard to play. It has Evoke. It has a lot of combo potential, so maybe not perfect, but it could be cool. Dictate of Erebos. This is probably what I will play over that other one that I was talking about. So whenever a creature you control dies, Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Totally makes sense. Black market is whenever any creature dies, put a charge counter on black market. At the beginning of your post combat main phase, pre combat main phase, add black to your mana for each charge counter on black market. That's probably going to do a lot of work. Sir Conrad is whenever a creature enters or leaves your graveyard, it deals 1 damage to each opponent, and then you can pay 2 to mill and stuff like that. So, Shuri, Shizo's Caretaker. Whenever a creature with power 1 or less is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you may return that card to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. If Shuri Caretaker is still on the battlefield, 5 mana might just be too much and too fragile. But all right, another payoff. Whenever Gonti's Aether Heart or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you get 2 energy counters. Pay, is that 6 or 8 or whatever, and then sacrifice it or exile it. Take an extra turn after this one. So it's going to create a lot of energy. I just we'll see. I mean, if I keep the other one that plays spells, it's probably worth it, and then you can just do the extra turn if you need to. Athreos, Shroud Veiled. At the beginning of your end step, put a coin counter on another target creature. Whenever a creature with a coin counter on it dies or is put into exile, return that card to the battlefield under your control. 6 mana is a lot for this, and it's only triggering once. I'm just gonna cut it. Kogla, the Titanate. When it ETBs, it fights, and then also you can pay 2 to return target human you control, and it gains indestructible. So being able to just kind of go back and forth, it's a big one. Whenever it attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment, defending player controls. So it's kind of doing a lot. The 3 greens kind of rough. Kodama, the East Tree. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, if it wasn't put into the battlefield with this ability, you may put a permanent card with equal or lesser converted mana cost from your hand into the battlefield. So with Will going back and forth, those tokens being created, those tokens can put lands into play. And that should get you ahead really quick. I think this could be pretty powerful in here. Bane of Progress is killing all those clues and making a huge motherfucker. Storm of Souls, it's 6 mana, probably too much for what's going on, but it brings back all of your creatures as 1/1 spirits, all the ETBs, all the sacrifice potential. Could be nice in here. Martyr's Bond. I like his card, but it's always just a wee bit expensive. But whenever Martyr's Bond or another non-land permanent you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a permanent that shares a card type with it. So you can kind of like, you're going to be able to control the board with Will. You're going to be able to control the board with those clues if they're taking it or they're taking, 1 life. So makes sense to me. Sun Titan gets Will back or any other value, land, fetch, whatever. It's pretty cool. Liliana, Dreadhorde General. Will's dying. You're drawing cards. You can control the board with it. Totally works. Bolas' Citadel is just kind of works. I mean, there's some slight life gain in here that allows you to potentially get ahead of schedule. This is great. I can sacrifice those clues. So there's some other stuff in there. I think it's pretty cool. All right, Demon of Dark Schemes. When it enters the battlefield, all other creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever another creature dies, you get 1 energy, and then you can pay 3 and 4 energy, and then put target creature card from your graveyard into the battlefield under your control tapped. Maybe. Marionette Master. You leave the Fabricate on there. It's a 4/6 at that point, and then whenever you sacrifice a clue, somebody's losing 4 life. That's pretty sweet. Summoning Station, put a 2/2 colorless pincher creature token into play. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from play, You may untap Summoning Station. It's 7 mana. It's a lot, but it's kind of a cool one. I wanted to show that off. Ashen Rider. When an ETBs or dies, exile target permanent. That should work pretty well in here. Angel of Despair is when an ETBs destroy target permanent. Works for me. The Meat Hook Massacre. Black X. Creatures get -X, and whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. And whenever a creature an opponent control dies, I gain 1 life. So pretty sweet. Exsanguinate. A little bit of damage down there, but I bought this card for like $1. So that's pretty sweet. But it's just a gain life, lose life, kind of end the game thing. Herald of Anguish is 7 mana, but it has improvise, so casting it with those clue tokens at the beginning of your end step, each opponent discards a card and it sacrifices an artifact. Target creature gets -2/-2. So I think it can do some work in this kind of deck. I like it. And then Butcher of Malakir. Whenever another creature you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature as well. Like I said, I'll probably cut this one and I'll probably get rid of Grave Betrayal, but we already got a good section already cut off. You know, getting rid of those energy cards was probably pretty helpful. Let's go through really quick with just some of the ideas that I was talking about there. Because I think, I think I missed some of the stuff. So I like it. I think we'll get rid of Kaya's Ghost Form because it's not an instant. I think I can probably go and get Isochron Scepter, depending on how many of this type of card works. So, but I like Unearth, Phyrexian, Undying Evil, Supernatural Stamina, Reanimate, Swords, Path, Leon and Elder makes sense to me. Caravan Vigil, like it's not doing enough. Like I'd much rather just have some type of ramp that works. It's not bad though. 1 mana, we'll cut that for now. Nature's Chosen, Instill Energy, Stay In, Bequeathals, like a bad Skull Clamp, but it is Skull Clamp. Deathrite Shaman's good, Soul Ring, Skull Clamp, Top, Mox Opal, Mortipod's kind of cool. Tome of Legends, Fell War, Arcane, Voice is getting me some tokens. Safi's Reanimate, Removal, Ping, Reanimate. Hidden Stockpile, I think, can go as a sack outlet. I don't think that does enough. All right. We are at 58 minutes. I'm aiming to be done probably in the next 45. So we'll try and do some cutting, but we got a lot here, a lot of work here to do. Reanimation, we'll keep that. Assassin's Trophy, removal, life gain, evolutionary leap. We'll keep it for now. Season of growth, that's something that we'll have to check. That's ramp. Creating blood tokens, which is a discard and a discard card, sacrifice, draw card. But it creates tokens. We'll see. Flicker. We are going to get rid of those for now. Declaration of Stone is removal that creates clue tokens. I like it. I like that. Charming Prince does enough there. Scrying 2, gaining 3, exiling just in case. Inquisitor Exarch probably doesn't do enough, but we'll keep it. Reanimate. That's a lot of draining. Reanimate. Scrying. Maybe. Making some creature big. I'm okay with that. That's kind of just like an out of nowhere thing. Makes sense to me. Return to action. Let's cut that for now. Got a bunch. Plumb the Forbidden. I'm not going to have a lot there that's going to work well. So this is pay 2, sacrifice will, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. I mean, we have We have cards like that that'll just work anyway. Probably cut Plumb the Forbidden. Sacrifice sack outlet with the drain, sack outlet, protection. Abzan Ascendancy should be creating an army. Honor Worn Shaku might be cool. Creating bats is cool. Can I eat me? Bouncing back and forth. Blasting station where it makes sense. Ramp. We'll keep that for now. Reanimate, removal, more tokens. All right. Kind of flying here. All right. Let's see here. This is scrying, reanimate, drawing. This is for everybody though, but that's okay. Drawing, life crafters. That's drawing. That's boom. I think that's kind of cool. It's probably going to end up being cut, but I think it's kind of cool. Thrashing Brontodon works. Eternal ramp. Gift him immortality. Monologue tax. I think we cut it. We're in green. I'm not going to be terribly worried about it. Generous gift makes sense. Second sunrise affects your opponents, and so I'm willing to cut this right off the bat as well. Oketra's monument. That's fine. Fine. The flash is what's going to keep this around. Bygone Bishop. I'm not going to be casting a lot, I don't think. It's more like back and forth. So we can cut that. Flicker Wisp is going to get cut right now. No flash. It is kind of everything, but Bastion Protector should be cool. I'm all right with that. Athreos seems good. Attrition seems good. Boom. Boom. Creating token. Draining. Drawing cards. I think I have enough actual reanimate that I can get rid of that and Footsteps of the Goroyo. That's drain. Oh, that'd be nice. I'm okay with tokens. That seems good. Tokens, drawing. That's a drain. It's kind of aggressive. Enters battlefield or attacks. Exile up to 2 target cards. Okay, so there's a potential to do 2. Do I really want to add Daybound and Nightbound into the game? No. I think it's cool though. I think it would work here. I just don't want to add Daybound. Just trying to find reasons why to cut cards. Rigor can get huge. Fine with that so far. Tokens, draining, makes sense. All right. I still like this. I think this could be fun, even though it just probably depends on how spell heavy I get rather than permanent heavy. We'll see. Clark Clan. Tempting Contract makes sense to me. Solum. Emil. Kaya. Culling Ritual. Of each end step. Each end step makes that interesting, at least. I think there could be some drawing off that. Savra makes sense. Guardian Project. Parallel Lives. We'll cut Path. I don't think, just putting lands into play just isn't going to be good enough compared to drawing and stuff like that. So Bramble Sovereign still cool. Yeah, ETB. We'll keep it around. Annoying Procession still works. All right. Yeah. We'll get rid of Feldark Guardian just because permanent. It's one time. No combos. I like it. Tashar makes sense. Drain. That's depending on opponents' non-token creatures dying. So I think that's something that we can cut for now. I think we just more worry about our creatures dying. Creating treasures. Big drain. I'm not going to be able to proliferate very much that I know of. I mean, I always like just the drawing of cards. Sacrifice a creature, draw a card, a little bit of removal. We'll keep that around. I dig that so far. Dig it, dig it. Drain. We'll cut Grave Pact at this point because I think I want Dictate and then the white one. Nightmare Shepherd, probably worth it still. Arcbound can get huge. Lifeline makes sense. Tameo, Lisa. Does that matter? I don't think I have Panharmonicon in here. Is that okay? Is that crazy? Kaya, Moldervine, Perilous Forays, Gutter Grime, Acidic Slime, Seed Guide Ash, Thragtusk, Cauldron of Souls, Revel Arc, Dictate, we'll keep that. Black Market makes sense. Sir Conrad as a drain. Shirai, I think, is just too slow. Gonti's Aetherheart could be kind of fun. Kogla still makes sense a little bit. Konama makes sense a little bit. Bane of Progress. We'll keep Storm of Souls in. So I like Martyr's Bond in here. That'll be okay. Sun Titan makes sense. Liliana makes sense. Still digging the energy at this point. Marionette. Summoning Station. 7 mana is just too much. That's got to be cut. Removal Suite. Removal Suite. Removal Suite. Drain. Okay. All right. So we only probably have like 200 cards left. All right. Let's see what we can. We'll put this into sections right now. Where are we at? That was our CMC and everything. All right. This will be. What do you? Sack outlet. I don't know where that's going to be. We'll put that in the drain. Drain. That's going to be. Reanimate. Make sure that we just have a lot of reanimate spells. We have removal. We have some gain life. Just kind of something there. Drawing. There's probably more ramp. Ramp. Drawing. This is a pinger. That's a draw. Ramp. Ramp. We should have a token section. All right. Do we have? This will be random ass stuff. Pile. That'll be tokens. Reanimate. Removal. Ping. Reanimate. Removal. Life gain. This is probably card advantage. Card advantage. Ramp. Ramp. 2/1 flyer for 2. That can be kind of aggressive. I don't know what to consider it though. Oh, maybe making tokens. Reanimate. And we'll call blinking it too. That's a ping. Reanimate, reanimate, reanimate. Ping. There we go. That'll be random pump. Ping. 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 Random sack outlet. Protection. This can probably just be in next week's if I don't care. Tokens. Manyas. Token. Mana. This is kind of protection. It's random. Tokens. Back and forth. This is a ping. This is mana. Reanimate. Removal. So I got a lot of reanimate. That's fine. I mean, that's where we're at this point. And so we're going to want to cut down on that quite a bit. We have probably just, we're going to cut Myth Unbound. I don't think we're going to get there with that. That's probably boop, boop. Mana, removal, recursion, ramp, ramp. We'll call that ramp. That's blinking. Removal. Token. Random. So we have so much recursion that we just can't simply deal with that. What's that ping? What's that doing? Token. We'll call that tokens for now. Token. Mana. Draw. Big dude. Ping. Reanimate. Ping. Excuse me. Random. It's going to be a sack outlet, but it's still mana. Let's see here. Still mana. That's still mana. This is treasure. I mean, it's bad though, right? It's kind of on theme. Cheating stuff in. That'll be mana. That's blink. That's blink. WinCon is going to be just kind of the bunch of just, cutting 1,000 times. That's all I'm really gaming. I'm not going to go over the top. I don't really like going over the top. I like grinding stuff out, either the wins or the losses. I'd much rather have a grindy game. So that's kind of my thing that I do. That'll be removal. This is draw. That's removal. That's a ping. Draw. Tokens. Token. Removal. Recursion. I think we can cut Temur Sabertooth. Tokens. Recursion. We'll consider that. Recursion. Token. Blink. Recursion. Cuts. All right. And then we can... Plenty of mana here, too. That's for drawing. That's for removal. That's token. Boom. Consider that recursion. Just going to be big. Got a couple of creatures that can just get big. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if that even matters. Get any card. Any card. That's card advantage. Recursion. This is a type of recursion. That's drawing. That's ramp. Token. Removal. Ramp. Kind of nothing, but recursion, removal, ramp. Boom. Extra turn, which is random. That can be a removal, but it also fits there. We'll consider that ramp because I think it's going to be a land most of the time. Removal, recursion, removal, recursion, draw, recursion, ping, removal, ping, and where's that going? Probably just random. All right. Sack outlets that just don't really do anything right now, just creating a food, and Arcbound Ravager can kind of become huge pretty quick. I'm okay with that for now. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's more than enough. Let's go through that. So Conrad, Obzadot might not be worth it. I can be okay with it not being worth it. Yeah, we'll cut Obzadot. Falcon Wrath, Revenge, Poison, Siege Rhino, Nadir Nightblade, Bontus. Sacrifice a creature, untaps whenever a creature comes into play. I'm not really a token. Maybe. Maybe that's strong enough. Blood Artist, Zulaport, Lamp Pad, Inquisitors. This is much more like a cheaper Obsidian, so I'm okay with that. Corpse Knight. I don't think Mortarpod has a chance. It just doesn't do enough. It's not quick enough. Disciple, Cauldron Familiar. All right. Let's look at the. Nah, let's not worry about that. Let's get these tokens down. Thragtusk makes sense to me. Gutter Grime's kind of a do nothing at the beginning. Let's bring this down. So, adjusted the mic there. I like Tormod. I like Desecrated Tomb. I like Abzan Ascendancy. This is just kind of like whenever creatures die. Gutter Grime just is too expensive. Anointed Procession makes sense. Let's double the amount. Parallel Lives. Making creatures whenever this is a cast. Let's get rid of that. Even though it's probably nice. Chatterfang is going to do a lot. Academy Manufacturer is going to do a lot. Let's get rid of Thragtusk. I still like Gutter Grime a little bit. Search the Premises, Bramble Sovereign, Thane, Liliana, Voldaren Bloodcaster, and Voice of Resurgence. Let's reread that. Whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn or when Voice dies, put a green and white elemental creature. This creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of creatures you control. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. Whoop. We're all over the place. Okay. Let's look at our removal. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Kogla might be a wee bit expensive at this point. It's 3 green. I don't know if I really like that. Fights up to 1 target creature. It can attack and destroy an artifact or enchantment, defending player controls. Then return to human. I kind of like it still. I kind of like it. I'm cool with it. Dictate makes sense. Acidic Slime makes sense. Eradicator Valkyrie. Yeah. Culling Ritual. Let's. Attrition is just nice sack outlet. Removal. We have enough so far, so we'll get rid of Aura Shards. Declaration, Assassin's Trophy, Kasali, boom, boom. All right. That's not helping. All right. We should cut a ton of reanimation here. We don't need this much. So we're going to do kind of a CMC thing here. Just to see where we're at. Because I think there's just a lot. 4, 4, 4. Threes. 2s. And 1s. Okay. 1s. I kind of like them all. 1 is pretty powerful. Okay. We'll keep that. 2 is target legend. So can be a return. Shallow Grave is put the top creature card. So it's kind of a little bit more setup. Charming Prince brought back. Card with 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If this creature would die, exile it instead. think Can't Stay Away is a little too narrow for its mana, but it's 7. I think we could probably cut Can't Stay Away at this point. I'm interested in Revival just because it can go big. Cauldron Haze makes sense. Safi, Eric's daughter. All right. We have Victimize, Decaying Soil, Necromancy, a blink, a blink, a blink. Lurus. Okay. During each of your turns, you may cast one permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. I think we can cut Lurus just because it's one time. Just because it's one time. I don't know about that. Doing some work here. Enters the battlefield, you may exile target creature card. If it attacked or blocked this turn, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. The target creature, if it attacks. So it could be yours, it could be theirs. In flash, I kind of like that. Kind of like that. Gift of Immortality. Boom, 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 boom. I like all that. All right, we're going to have a lot. Deshar. I don't have a lot. Gil Powder Mage makes sense to me. I'm going to cut Nightmare and Tashar. We're going to keep Gale Powder Mage at this point. Faith's Rewards. Semester's End. We'll keep Faith's Reward. Cut Semester's End. Teleportation Circle makes some sense. So does Cosmic Intervention. Timeless. And Emil. All right, let's read everything. That each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Oh, that's also part of what's going on. And then each opponent discards a card and you draw a card. That's not bad. I don't hate this. This kind of does everything in this deck. I'm okay with that. All right. Kaye doesn't do enough at that point. Lifeline is a Bamf. Cauldrons of Souls is pretty good. Another non-token creature you control dies. Return that card to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Please play. I'll probably just screw Revel Arc up and go infinite. So I'm going to cut that right away. Non-token creature. It's a little slow. It's a little slow. I think that's what we're going to go with. It's just too slow. Storm of Souls is probably just hitting too much. Boom, boom. I think these both kind of work. We'll keep them. All right. All right. How are we doing here? I like the improvise and like the discarding. It makes sense. Gonti's Aether Heart. I think that'd be cool. Whenever another artifact ETBs, you get 2. That could be doing some work for you. Makes sense. Death Render's 4 and 2. I'm okay with that equip cost. Aetherworks. Moriok Rigor. I think that gets cut. I think it's cute. I think it's cute. I think you're real cute. But all it is big. It doesn't matter much. Bastion Protector is nice protection. Snaring Bridge, Cranial. Power Leech probably isn't good enough. Gain 1 life whenever one of your opponents. Yeah, probably not good enough. And an Elder. That's pretty good. So a bunch of randoms. Boop. All right, let's look through. So I think that'd be cool. Black Market makes sense. Sea Guide Ash would be fun. Perilous Forays, I think it's expensive for a sack outlet, right? Cut that. Getting a token, getting a treasure. Solo makes sense. Tempting Contract. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent may create a treasure token for each opponent who does. You create a treasure token. So at most you can get 3, but you're ramping them 1. We'll cut that one. Since we're in green, we do have more options and stuff like that. Kark, Ironworks, KCI. That makes sense to me. Undercity Scrounger. I kind of like it. I want to try it out, but we'll see if it can make it. Token. Duh. 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 Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on it. Tap. Add mana of any one color where X is on. I think we can. We'll have to check out how many humans we actually have in here total. Elf Scout makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Ashnod's Altar. Auto-worn Shaku. Sack. Artifact. Dut, dut, dut. Whoa. Whoop. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 24. 24. Liliana. Moldavine. Boom. I kind of want to play with that. I think that'll kind of work. Grim. Boom. 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 We can cut that. 23. This is just an enchantment. 22. We'll cut that. Yeah. 21. Bequeathal probably isn't good enough. Oof. Oof. All right. We're there. We're not doing half bad now. Let's see here. Those are all the cuts so far. We're moving along. All right. Let's do groupings at this point. So enchantments, artifacts, stuff like that. Creature enchantments. I like having plenty of threats, drawing, stuff like that. And so kind of looks like I'm going to be a little enchantment heavy with my draw. We'll see how that goes. I don't know about that. Sorcery, creature. So artifacts, creature. Yeah, so not a lot with Mike, but there's enough. Some of the stuff that's just like can sacrifice it, bring it back if needed. We'll see if that goes enough of the ways. But I think it'd be interesting at least. I have a few more planes. I don't normally use planeswalkers either. Well, I'm pretty low on my instance. Creature. We'll see. We'll get there. Enchantments. See here. Sorcery. Creature, instant. And this is an enchantment. All right. And we have enough here that is going to get enough work. All right. Creature, instant. Creature, instant. Sorcery. Whoop. I probably shouldn't like that, but it kind of works. It kind of works. Yeah, it does seem like I have a lot of enchantments, I think. We'll cut Gutter Grime. I think it's already too much. Creatures. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Sorcery. It's a legendary enchantment. They have some legends in here. That could be kind of cool. That could be kind of cool. All right. Plenty of creatures. Let's see here. All right. Let's look through some of these sorceries. Exsanguinate makes sense. Culling Ritual. Declaration in Stone is probably a bad card for here. I mean, giving Investigate tokens is not bad. That's something that we take. Yeah, that's cool. I'm down for it. I think with the specific, I mean, cycling isn't bad though either. Reanimate, revival, that's doing something else. Victimize, primal growth, painful truths. All right with that. I'm all right with those. All right. Anguished, solid. Boom, boom, boom. I don't think I have Beast Within in here. Rutro. That's probably something that should come in, huh? I like. Brought back ain't too bad. Gorios and Shallow Grave can probably be cut. Can probably be cut. Persist, Eerie, Faith Rewards. Turn to the battlefield all permanents, and this is saying everything. Okay. Okay. I am down. I still like both these planeswalkers. Drawing cards, creating a 2/2. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures. Each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifice the rest. That's a white effect, but I dig it. Do you know what actually? Liliana probably doesn't make it. 6 mana. It's not worth it at that point. All right. Let's look at these. Let's look at these enchantments. That works. Search the premises. 4 mana is a lot. You need to get a lot out of that, so we'll get rid of that. I like Abzan, Parallel, Anointed, Blighted Mound, Martyr, Dictate. Let's cut Attrition. It's a good card, but Phyrexian, Dance of the Dead, Oversoul's Cemetery. I'm gonna have to look that up again just to get my wording down. Journey of Eternity, Gift of Immortality, Athreos, Necromancy, Decaying Soil, Temporal, Doom Boom. I think I can cut Black Market. Five's always a little expensive in my opinion. So 5, we should be able to get a card or 2 per turn off that pretty easy. Whenever a creature, it doesn't matter if it's a token or not. I like that quite a bit. Guardian Project, Death Reap Ritual, Burden, Ovenwald. Whenever you sacrifice a clue. Yep. Bequeathal probably just doesn't do enough. We can cut that. All right. Artifacts. Not yet. Witch's Oven as a sacrifice outlet that also creates a food token. And it's super cheap. I'm down with that. Fontu's Monument makes sense. Blasting Station, Deserted Tomb, Cloudstone, Mimic Vet, Sword of Light and Shadow, Lifeline, boom, 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 boom. Like, what do we have for our highest, our hardest to cast? Like, does that even matter? Like, maybe Marionette Master relatively early. But after that, I think we're pretty cheap. Got a couple of those big angels, but that is whatever. We can cut Death Render. I think we can get there with just grinding. Cranial plating, ensnaring bridge to slow down everything. Clark Clan, Sword of Hearth and Home. Yeah, I wish I could. I was noticing some legends in there, so that could get some good value out of there. Astronaut's Altar, Inspiring Statuary, Felwar, Arcane, Mox, Soul Ring, Bolus's Citadel, Tamio's Journal. I'm okay cutting this. Like, it's a tutor. It's a cool tutor that I could use and I've never used, but I also just don't want to use tutors. It would make sense in here though. Arcbound Ravager could get pretty big. It could. It could. But it might not. We'll cut that for now. Sir Conrad, Marionette, Poison Tip, Siege Rhino, Nadier's Nightblade. This is kind of a cool card. I should probably try and find that in foil or something. Falcon Wrath, Voice of Resurgence. It's pretty sweet. Cauldron, Disciple, Inquisitors, Exarch, Corpse Knight, Blood Artist, Zulaport, Lamped of the Dead, Volduran Bloodcaster, Liliana, Fane. Fane can probably be cut. Create a treasure. 2/1/1 counters and yeah, I think we cut Fane. Kind of doing a bit beyond. Bramble Sovereign still has a place. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. We're doing all right. Koglet is pretty versatile. Creature, enchantment, or artifact. Protection on it. Works with will. Sacrifice a creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. So only when it's attacking. Creature or planeswalker. Acidic slime. Is probably okay. Knight, Druid, Savra. So it'd really be whenever you sacrifice a black creature, pay 2 life, each other player sacrifices a creature. I'm down with that. There's a couple of green creatures that can gain me life. There's some random life gain. Charming Prince makes sense. Safi, Eternal. Yeah. Yeah. I think this would be cool. Whenever another creature dies, you get I don't think that's going to do enough for like 3 black mana. That's quite a bit. Arcbound, Bastion Protector, little Kodama, Pitiless Plunderer, Sifter, Seed Guide Ash. It seems I like Seed Guide Ash. The problem ends up being 5 mana to go on ramp 3 is probably too expensive, which is weird to say because plenty of people play 4 mana to get 2 lands into play. I'm just talking 5 to get 3. All right, talk myself into it. I'll keep it for now. Solemn, Pawn, Undercity Scrounger, Do I have this is an artifact. Is there any way to untap it? I do have Instill Energy. I do have I kinda like that. I kinda like that. It's a human as well. Scout, Heron. Might want to get rid of those. Deathrite. Dawn, Treader Elk. All right. Sakura, Yawgmoth, Twilight, Grim Harris Bucks, draw. This allows me to set my top, but do I care if I'm just able to draw as much as I can? It's a 2/3 that comes with another body. I'm down. I like that still. All right. Oh. Let's see here. All right, let's see here. Oversold. Let's find. All right. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 4 more creature cards in your graveyard, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. That is Oversold Cemetery. We will cut it. I think it's just working on will at this point, and that's okay. All right. How much time? 140 at this point. I think what we can do is go through and see the uses one more time. Yeah. We'll do one more time through, see what they're being used for, and try and make some cuts from there and probably call it for the night. All right, scrying, clue, draw. Oh, that's what I was just at. That's what I was just doing. Why didn't anybody stop me? Why didn't you stop me? Okay. What is a good way to do this? So we did piles. Oh no, we were just doing creatures, weren't we? So we were doing creature types. We have CMC, which is what we started out with. We have what are they doing? And I think that's the one that I normally go to most often. So let's go with what is it doing? And then try and cut it down from there. All right. Reanimate. Just like the double triggers. This is random ass stuff. This is going to be ping, tokens, back and forth. Oh, that is land. That is draw. Let's reverse that so I don't get so screwy. Boom. I think I still have plenty of reanimate here. And so we're going to want to figure that out decently quick. Mana. Mananas. All right. We can cut that. We can cut cranial plating. That's there to draw cards. Removals. Boom. Reanimates. That's tokens. Boom. Death. That is. Another token. Bloop. That's card advantage to a degree. Draw. Ramp. Draw. Boom. We're getting through there. Drain 2, gain 2. Yeah, that's boom. We're doing all right here. We're doing all right. Just got to figure out a little bit of what we want to have happen. Yeah, just so much of it. Removal, reanimate. Drawing. That's going to be the biggest thing, I think. Is just... Uh-oh. Yeah, I put that in the wrong spot. All right, we have some removals. That's protection, but I don't necessarily care about it. We'll cut it. Big boy. Recursion again. This is removal. Removals. Tokens. And we got some pings. Returning stuff. We'll say that's that, and that's gaining life. All right. All right. Is there any way to distribute these in there? Let's just ping, sack outlet, or outlet ping. We'll get rid of this because it's only an ETB versus no like triggers or whatever. So that makes sense. That's a big one. Bontus makes sense. Boom. Whenever you're attacked. That makes sense. Sir Conrad, solid. Baronet. Poison tip. Each opponent loses 3. Boom, boom, boom. Sack outlet, sack outlet. This is random stuff to help probably control the board. Got a couple of aggressive cards in here, but all right. And this is just tokens, which isn't bad, but I kind of like the cards that deal with. That makes sense to me. Non-token creature you control dies. Create a non-token, a blood token. If you control 5 or more blood tokens, 5 or more, you may turn one of your target blood tokens into a 2/2. No other support. Okay. I was thinking it was less than that, but Bramble Sovereign. That seems cool. I think we end up needing to get rid of it. All right. I don't have a problem with these. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That is plenty. All right. Let's try and get that down. Cool. Cool. Don't have a lot of sack outlets at this point, so 6 line probably isn't worth the mana at this point, which is crazy to say, but I think we're doing all right. Declaration in Stone. I think Declaration and Stone can go. That makes sense to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And I'm going to kind of want to get Beast Within in there as well. But maybe that doesn't matter. All right. Plenty of back and forth. Okay. So we have a Blink. That's from Death. From Death is probably best. Man, there's just so many fucking. All right. True Reanimate. That's 3 or less. That's not bad. So Reanimate. Let's Reanimate. That's Blink. Right there. These are the blinks. Not blinks. I don't even know what to call that. Back from the dead. All right. Back and forth. Back to hand. Reanimate. All right. For the reanimation spells, Sun Titan, Necromancy, Mimic Vat, Dance of the Dead. Do I even care? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know how we're. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Fine with that so far. We'll cut the 2 auras. They're good. Just got to cut somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we can get rid of Phyrexian Reclamation, which also sounds weird. I really like that card. All right. This is the blinking or just like returning stuff to hand or whatever. Oh, that's probably in there. Another target creature you control, then whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay green or white. 1/1 counter on it. If it's a unicorn, put 2. Emil. Well, I like this just because it's going to be at the end. I'm already kind of a value-based thing. Gale Powder Mage can probably go. Ooh, I mean, we don't need this many. That's the problem. And so how are we saving stuff? So like it's nice to maybe have something that's just going to save myself. This is a drain. That makes sense to me. I would say Emil might be better than Eldrazi Displacer just because of the colorless. I don't know. It's harder to get colorless mana in a 3-color deck. 4 mana versus a 3 mana, 3/3 versus 4/4. Could put the token on there. We'll get rid of Eldrazi Displacer. And Vizier of Deferment. Enters the battlefield. You may exile a target creature if it attacked or blocked this turn. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Yeah. They're both okay. Like this can be kind of removal on somebody attacking or blocking. Gets rid of tokens. Target creature you own. This is just some pretty good value. 2/2. We'll get rid of Charming Prince. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay with that so far. And then we will two hand or to play. I guess that's to play. So that's fine. That's also. Oh, these are just to play. I somehow mess this up. I like Cloudstone Curio. It's good. But is it good in here? Back and forth. Let's get rid of it. Journey makes sense. Gift makes sense. Decaying soil. This is a hand. I think that could work pretty well in here. Lifeline, I like Cauldron, Cauldron Haze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I kind of like. We'll have to see. I think we're going to cut these just because of 4 mana, and I'm not going to personally be sacrificing a lot of stuff. If that makes sense. All right. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That is likely too many, and we will have to cut that in the future. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. We're going to likely want to cut that down by like 8. Cool. Seed Guide Ash. Bone Pitiless. Primal Growth. Deathrite. Dawn Shredder. 1, 2, 3, 4. Unworn Shaku. Boom. Shoot. That's not helpful, Lowry. Okay. Let's see here. Is there anything that just doesn't really work? I don't have any, like if I had X spells. Let's get rid of KCI. That's crazy. That's a little wild. We'll still keep Ashnod's Altar, I think, though. Dawn Treader Elk, is that search your library for a basic language card, put it in the battlefield tapped, and shuffle your library. Could potentially do that a couple times. I mean, Fertile did might do something in here, but I don't think so. Seed Guide Ash. We probably have enough sack outlets, ways to kill it. Inspiring Statuary. Undercity Scrounger. Creature died this turn. We'll want to check on how many humans. Well, I mean, will. Could be lot. Any one color. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do there. All right, let's look at our drawing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 is not too bad, not too shabby. Anytime you may pay the top card of your library if you cast a spell this way. Pay life equal to its CMC. Yep. That is all making sense right now. I thought so. I don't know. I don't know what to get rid of it. All right. So I'm starting to slow down anyway. There's definitely going to be a part 2 on this, probably next Tuesday. What's that? Probably, I think it's the 22nd, March 22nd. And so, yeah, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for checking out this deck build so far. I think Mike and Will is going to be pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see what happens with it and which way it goes. Um, they don't. And so yeah, thanks for hanging out. Bye.